What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the poker vlog. I am currently recording this from inside the Bagio parking garage. It is Saturday, March the 2nd. Yeah, March the 2nd. And it is windy as hell outside right now. And it actually is raining. If you can't see that on my window there. It started raining on the way over here to the Bagio. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I decided to get out a little bit earlier today and get in an earlier session. So hopefully I can be done a little bit earlier and not have to play into the wee hours of the morning, as they say. A couple of updates. So this session's going to be, or this episode's going to be a little bit different. I was in Palm Springs over the week for work, and I got in a little kind of mini session at Agua Caliente. So we're going to start off with just a few hands from Agua Caliente, and then we're going to pick things up here from Bagio. So this is going to be a combination of a session I played on, I think it was Wednesday, February the 28th, and then today, March 2nd. So that is what's going on there. I'm going to get some B-roll footage from Palm Springs as well coming up. And as far as anything else goes in terms of updates on the vlog, so I am going to start posting on Wednesdays. I have historically been posting every Monday morning, but I'm going to start posting on Wednesday mornings and see how that works with my schedule. It's been a little bit hectic and a little bit too much time on the weekends trying to get it done for Monday morning, so we'll see how Wednesday works. And if Wednesday is no good, I probably will try to move to Thursday or Friday. So just be on the lookout for that. Nothing else is changing on the vlog. The only thing different there is that we're going to be posting on Wednesdays instead of Mondays. So that's that. That's the updates. I will see you all at the poker table. Fun hands to report from Agua Caliente, the poker room where the now famous Wolfgang Poker got his start. I think he put this room on the map, so shout out to Wolfgang Poker. This is my first time in this room, and the first playable hand that I pick up is pocket nines in the small blind. We're not in the best position, but that's okay. We see a raise to $15 from under the gun +1. Two players in middle position in the field put in the $15 call. I go ahead and call as well. Big blind folds. Surprisingly, he's getting about 500 to 1 in a call, but that's okay. No judging. He folds, and we go 4 ways to a flop of 10 of clubs, 8 of clubs, 7 of hearts, giving us a straight draw. Any jack or any 6 is going to give us a straight. However, 2 of those outs are not clean outs because we do not want to see the jack of clubs or the 6 of clubs. I go ahead and check like I would with my entire range in this spot, and under the gun +1 continues for $25. The 2 field players who put in the call pre-flop decide to come along post-flop, and they put in the call. We've got some fun possibilities with our hand here, and we certainly could be going for a raise on this flop. However, I think putting in the call is fine as well and seeing how things develop on the turn, so that is what I do. And we are off to said turn card, which is in fact a brick. It is the deuce of diamonds, so we do not connect on the turn. And when I check it over to under the gun +1, he does not stop. He bombs this turn for $100. Both players in middle position hit the eject button and get out of there. I get out of there as well. I definitely feel like this player had an overpair that he was trying to protect and knew that we were more than likely on draws. I mean, he certainly could have been making this play with a hand like ace-king or ace-queen that we might have been ahead of, but more than likely he probably had a hand like pocket jacks or pocket queens or maybe even pocket kings or pocket aces. We get out of there and we move on to the next hand. And that next playable hand that we find ourselves with is a premium. We pick up the pocket queens in middle position. Better yet, we see 2 players in early position put in the limp. That's right, they call $3. Pretty weak range when you're calling from early position. I bump things up. I make it 16 to go with the plan to isolate one of these 2 players. A new player at the table in the hijack, though, does not like my plan. He calls. Small blind calls. Big blind folds, and now both players who limped in call. We've got ourselves a multi-way party going on here with the premium holding. Not the best ideal position to find yourselves in when you have a hand like pocket queens. Dealer, let's see ourselves a good flop. The flop comes down 7 of spades, 4 of spades, 3 of clubs, giving us an overpair, but it is a very connected board. Small blind checks, both limpers check, and I think I've got to continue firing here, and I've got to go large to protect our ladies. If anyone flopped a set, or if anyone has a weird 2-pair, I think we're going to hear about it pretty quickly. If they have a draw, they'll probably just call, so we can get value from said draws. So I make it 45 to go. Apparently no one likes that price. They all fold pretty quickly, and we end up taking down a small pot here with our pocket queens. No resistance on the flop. No one flopped a set. No one had a draw. They all whiffed, and we end up winning. We've got another pocket pair in the small blind. This time it's the nickels, pocket fives. A player in early position raises things up to 15, folds around to the cutoff who puts in the $15 call. I put in the $15 call as well. We are going set mining here. Set mining is an art. It is a strength. It is something you have to work on. Over time, you will develop the ability to do what I'm about to do, which is summon from the depths of the mind the 5 of diamonds. That's right. We see a flop of ace of spades, 5 of diamonds, 6 of clubs. We summoned bottom set on this board. I start things off with a check, and the early position raiser checks as well, and now I'm praying for the cutoff to put in a bet. He hears our prayer, and he puts out $16. Now, I could just go for the call here. It is a fairly dry board. There's no flush draw. There are some straight draws, but I think more than likely he's just going to have an ace in this spot. So I just decide to go for some aggression now, and I go with the check raise. I make it 65 to go. Early position player sends his cards flying into the muck, and it's back over to the cutoff. The cutoff is not a happy man. He starts talking out loud. He's saying stuff like, I guess you got it. I guess you got me. And the more and more that he starts talking out loud, it sounds like he's just going to be putting in the fold. So I'm thinking we're probably just going to be taking this down with relatively little in the pot. And then he does something completely unexpected. He goes all in. That's right. He puts in his remaining $160-ish. I snap call, of course. I'm not going anywhere with our set. And the turn and the river are both bricks. He ends up showing ace-queen. We turn over our set of 5s. Our set mining ends up paying off quite nicely. This is the last interesting hand that we ended up playing at Agua Caliente. I played for about another 90 minutes, but nothing notable happened, and we ended up cashing out for about $100 in profit. I had a fun time at Agua Caliente. If I'm ever back in the Palm Springs area, I will certainly stop in and play a session there again. Back to Las Vegas, and nowhere better to pick up the action than the Bagio poker room, and we find ourselves yet again in the small blind with a pocket pair, although this time it's an improvement. This time we have pocket 10s. A player in middle position raises it up, he makes it 10 to go, and it folds over to the button who puts in the call. I put in the call, and the big blind puts in the call as well. Probably could have went heads up here had we 3-bet, and we probably could have defined ranges better had we 3-bet, but as played we see a flop of 8 of clubs, 8 of spades, deuce of diamonds. I go ahead and check, and the big blind checks. In middle position, continuation bets for $20. The button folds. I put in the $20 call, and the big blind doesn't like it. He gets out of there. The turn is the 9 of hearts. It's a card that really shouldn't change too much if we were ahead on the flop. We're more than likely still ahead here on this turn. I check. The middle position player does not slow down. He fires out a bet of $60. I'm not loving this spot. He's representing a lot of strength. He continuation bet 20 into multiple opponents, and he's continuing to show aggression and strength here on the turn. But I think our hand is just too good to not put in the call here. I think we can be ahead enough of the time to find a call. So after thinking about it for a bit, I do decide to go ahead and put in the $60 and see a river. And that river does come out the 5 of hearts, another card that once again really shouldn't change too much. I start things off with a check on the river, and the middle position player once again immediately starts assembling a bet. Now it really feels like he's got a better overpair. He's representing hands like pocket jacks, pocket queens, pocket kings, and pocket aces. Sure, he could have some bluffs, but I'm having a hard time finding what those bluffs would be other than hands like ace-king suited, ace-queen suited, maybe a hand like king-queen suited. Other than that, I just don't really see what he would be turning into a bluff here. So after thinking about it for a while and facing a $150 bet on this river, I eventually decide that I think we can just fold here and find a better spot. I don't know if it's the best fold. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this. Is this a good fold or a bad fold? I just feel like we're beat here enough of the time to make this a good fold. So I do let my cards go, I send them into the muck, and we move on to the next hand. All right, I'm gonna let it go. All right, playing out of the small blind is the theme for this episode apparently, because once again, we are in the small blind with a pocket pair. This time it's the Cowboys. Folds over to the cutoff who raises things up. He makes it 15 to go. You know, 15 is not going to be the price of poker for much longer. I bump it up here and I go to $55 out of position. Player in the big blind quickly gets out of the way and it's back over to our friend in the cutoff. And he is thinking for a little bit here. He seems a little suspicious, and of course, I am praying for either a re-raise or a call, but he does let it go. We don't get any action here with our pocket kings out of the small blind.
Why did you make me do this?
We look to play some hands in position instead of being in the small blind. This time we're on the button, the best position on the table, and we pick up a hand once again. Although it's not a pair this time, it's still a very playable hand, although people really love to hate on this hand. So we pick up ace-king, the best drawing hand in poker, as people affectionately like to call it. Ace of hearts, king of clubs on the button. Folds to the player in the low jack, who is the same gentleman that we 3-bet in the previous hand. He raises it up to 10, and the cutoff calls 10. I am not going to be calling. I bump things up to 50 big US dollars in position with a premium holding. Original raiser snap folds, and the cutoff pretty much snap folds as well. I think I need to find more 3-bet bluffs, because when I 3-bet for value, everyone is folding. That's not a good sign. That means you're probably not 3-betting light enough in order to get action. And if action is what you crave, action is what you will receive when you pick up pocket aces in the hijack. Ends up folding around to a player in the low jack who makes it 11 to go. We've been 3-betting pretty much every hand that we'd entered into in the last 3 or 4 hands, so I 3-bet here again to 40, and it folds around to the player in the low jack who I think is getting a little frustrated with my 3-betting. I think she might think that I'm picking on her. She eventually puts in the call, so we're going to go heads up here to a flop in a 3-bet pot in position. And the dealer puts out a pretty beautiful flop for our exact hand. We see the magical king of hearts, 7 of hearts, 8 of clubs. Better yet, the low jack leads into us, or aka donk bets, for $100. Music to my ears. She's got 160 left behind. I snap, put her all in, and this sends her into the tank. So a little history here with this opponent. She had lost 2 all-ins prior to this, and she's down a couple of buy-ins, and she did a seat change for quote-unquote better luck prior to this hand. And I felt like this was going to factor into her decision-making process here, and that appears to be exactly what is happening. She's saying out loud, I don't know how I can be beat again, how am I beat again, why does this keep happening, things like that. So definitely what occurred earlier is factoring into her decision-making process. And the more that she talks, the more I'm pretty certain she's got a hand like ace-king or king-queen here. Just top pair with a decent kicker that she's going to have a hard time letting go of. And the tanking continues, and the longer that the tanking continues, the more I am just praying that she finds a call here. Think long, think wrong is how the saying goes. And she seems to now be trying to talk herself into a fold. She's saying things like, I guess I'm just beat, I guess you have pocket aces, which definitely leads me to believe that she's got a king. Don't know what her kicker is, but I'm guessing it's probably ace-king. So I'm praying for a call, and then she starts to pick up her cards and play with her cards, and usually when players do this, it is a tell that they're getting ready to fold, and that is not a good sign. I really don't want her to be able to get away from this spot here and let this one go. And she starts to show that she's going to push her cards towards the muck, as you can see here in the camera, and then she grabs her chips and puts them in the middle, and we get the call that we were looking for. So we're off to a run out and a $600 pot. I just turn over the aces. We see 2 bricks peel off on the turn and the river. She shows ace king of diamonds, and we end up scooping this pot with our pocket aces. This is the last interesting hand of the session. We did play for another hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, but didn't get into any really interesting spots. But we did end up losing some money back. This got us to about even, and then we ended up losing some back when we would raise it, miss, and end up having to fold a bunch of times, which does happen quite often in No Limit Texas Hold'em. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Hope you enjoyed the hands. If you did, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you all in the outro. That is going to do it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the hands. If you did, please hit that like button. Maybe gamble on me a little bit and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future episodes. I really enjoyed playing at Agua Caliente. I only got to play for about 2.5 hours while I was there. I was a little time restricted due to work. If I ever get back in the Palm Springs area, I definitely want to play at that room longer. There was a lot of action. It seemed like a really good table and a lot of opportunity there, I think, to run well. So looking forward to getting back and playing at that establishment sooner rather than later. The hands you just saw at Bagio, we were in that game for 640 and we cashed out for 391 for a loss of $249, and I'll put the totals up here somewhere. So we booked a small win of $100 at Agua Caliente and a small loss at Bagio. So that's going to do it. Episode 40 is in the bag, as they say, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Until then, good luck at the tables. Peace.